Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Gorski back. And today, what we're going to be doing, we are going to be doing Summer Story Series Week 4, and we are going to be doing some number identification. And in order to do that, we are going to be reading How Big is a Million by Anna Milbourne and illustrated by Serena Rigoletti. So let's see if our penguin friend gets to find a million. Pipkin was a very small penguin who was always asking very big questions. How wide is the sea? How high is the sky? Is the moon made of cheese? But the thing he wanted to know most of all was, how big is a million? He went to ask his mama, but she was busy catching breakfast. It's important to have a full tummy when you're asking such big questions. Pipkin counted the fish his mama had caught and found that there were 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's a big number of fish for breakfast, he said. But if 10's this big, how big is a million? So, before we continue, what we're going to do, we are going to look at our number 10. You ready? Here's 10. And I'm sure plenty of my friends out there can already count to 10, know what 10 looks like. There's our 10. Let's continue. A million's more fish than you could ever eat, said Mama. A million's much, much more than 10. Pipkin thought about this for a while. He tried to imagine much, much more than 10. It's no good, he said at last. I'll have to go and find a million to know for sure how big it is. Good luck, called Mama, as she watched him go. Pipkin walked a little way and found a crowd of penguins. They were huddled in a circle, keeping warm. That's a lot of penguins, Pipkin thought. There are much, much more than 10. Excuse me, he called. How many of you are there? 100, said the middle penguin. And I'm the warmest one of all. A 100's a very big number, said Pipkin. If 100's this big, how big is a million? A million's much, much bigger than 100, the middle penguin said. But 100 is enough to keep you toasty warm. Would you like to join us? No, thank you, said Pipkin. I had to find a million. So, before we go on, we are going to take a look and see exactly how much is 100. So let's look. Here we go. There's 100. Bigger than 10. Maybe some of you already know what 100 looks like. Some of you already probably can count to 100. Let's keep going. He set off again through the deep white snow. After a while, his feet got tired of walking, so he slid on his tummy down a long, steep hill. He bumped into a seal cub who was doing much the same thing. Then, ever so quietly, it began to snow. That's a lot of snowflakes, Pipkin whispered. There are more than 100, and much, much more than 10. Do you think there are a million? No, said the seal cub, but I'm sure there are 1,000. And there really were. 1,000 is a really big number, said Pipkin. If 1,000's this big, how big is a million? The seal cub wrinkled his nose. Well, he said, a million's much, much bigger than 1,000. So, before we go on and see what Pipkin finds, let's look at what 1,000 is. There we go. See? Much bigger than 10. Much bigger than 100. Here is our 1,000. Here we go. Pipkin and the seal cub built a snow penguin and a snow seal cub and threw far too many snowballs to count. Then Pipkin said, I really have to go. I had to find my million. Good luck, said the seal cub. Pipkin walked and walked and walked all around the South Pole and back home again. His toes were cold and he was sleepy all over and he hadn't found a million of anything at all. Pipkin was a very, very disappointed penguin. He said to his mama, I found 10 yummy fish, 100 warm penguins, 1,000 pretty snowflakes, and a brand new friend. But I couldn't find a million however hard I tried. Mama gave him a big, warm hug. Come outside, she said. I've got something to show you. Here's your million, my little Pip. You can make a wish on every single one. Do you think you might know what it is? Let's see. $1 million stars. There's even more on this page. They're so tiny because I had to fit 1 million in there. But of course, you want to see what 1 million looks like? Oh my goodness, our biggest number yet. Bigger than 10, bigger than 100, bigger than 1,000. Here is our million. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our story, How Big is a Million? Stay tuned for next week, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye, everyone.